Hello and welcome back to the channel. You're joining me on a very busy Thursday morning, but I've got a new bit of stock of which I'm going to take you through the preparation process, and it is a Range Rover, so we're never quite sure what we're going to find. For our sins, we absolutely love selling these things, absolutely love driving these things, owning these things. We think that they are fantastic, much to the contrary of many other people, particularly on YouTube, who have a real disdain for these things, but they are one of the most popular SUVs to be driven, particularly around this area as well, and they are very good sellers. And obviously for a business, you want to be able to sell the cars that you stock. This one is no exception. It is a 2018 68 plate Range Rover Sport, so that will of course mean that it is the facelifted version, and you'll be able to tell that on the lights and also the interior too. It is, well, it's an autobiography P400E. The autobiography is obviously the specification status. We can see it's obviously got the nice badge just down there. The P400E element means that it is a 2-litre turbo petrol hybrid car. So it actually produces pretty staggering power for 400 PS, which is what they call it now rather than the brake horsepower. It's got some kind of black pack on it as well. So you've got the black surrounds on the lights, the black grills. Obviously, we've got these lovely 21-inch alloys. They've all Pirelli Scorpion tyres all around, which is really quite good. It's in desperate need of a good clean. The dark colours do hide it well, but it does need a really good clean. Picked it up yesterday on the trailer, got it back to the showroom, unloaded it, and there is something that we need to take a look at, which I'll show you in just a minute. But what I thought I would do is, we're a bit tight for space at the moment. We've got cars everywhere, the forecourt's full. I wanted to bring this in because, of course, we want to do this video for one, and to also get on with the cleaning and obviously the state that it's in on the interior, which I'll show you in just a sec. It's in desperate need of it. But what I thought I would do is charge it overnight just to make sure that the battery system's all good, which it seemingly is. What I thought was quite smart, though, on quite a lot of these cars, the two Panameras that we've done a video on recently are a classic example, is they have the fuel filler cap one side and then the charge cap the other side. This here, I think is really quite neat, to be fair, is hidden within the front grille, so I thought that was quite smart. And that charged overnight, but obviously you wouldn't necessarily know it was a hybrid just looking at the front grille, so I thought that was quite good. As I say, the facelifted version have these LED lights. They're upgraded LED lights in this particular one too. It's in desperate need of a polish. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it too strongly on the camera, but it's a real bad hedge rash. As I always say in any of our prep videos, if they've been local cars to us, it's definitely to be expected. But the tyres, all look really good. The alloys, I'm going to get them refurbished. They're not bad by any means, but there is a bit of curb rash just on each of the alloys, and I think these Range Rovers, they deserve to have the alloys done to make it look absolutely bang on. Black mirror caps, which is nice. Got the keyless entry and the keyless start too. Being the hybrid, you lose a little bit of boot space. I'll show you that, because obviously that's where the battery element sits. So you've got the charge cable in there, got this mat on, but you'll notice the boot actually comes up. There's a little ridge there. Normally on a Sport, when you lift up the boot floor, that's where the spare wheel's kept and your toolkit and everything like that. You don't have that here. All you've got, it's just a tiny little compartment with a towing eye, compressor and the tyre gunk stuff. So put that back in. It's still not bad boot space though. What I really quite like is the interior colour combination. I like the fact that it's the Carpathian grey exterior, and then the interior is a mix between the black and the blue. It's not quite navy blue. That's one of the faults we've got to look at as well. Check the fuel cap. I'll show you that in just a second. But a lovely interior, just needs a real good clean. Being the autobiography, comes with the Meridian sound system. What I've also noticed as well are these two, I'm assuming that they're speakers. They might be microphone covers. But yeah, just what a lovely colour combination. It does have the opening panoramic roof, of which that blind opens when we start it. Also got the suede finish, which is really quite nice in the ebony. Yeah, it's all a little bit tight in here. As I say, we're tight for space at the moment. But if I show you in the back here, I would say they absolutely love going to the beach, whoever did own it, because it's full of sand. But we've got the 4-zone climate control with the rear heated seats. We've got the meridians in the back, obviously. These are quite cool as well. They're alerts to tell you when a car is approaching you before you open your door into them. But if I jump in, ooh, it's on 72,001 miles. I'll start it up. So it's fired straight up. Of which we've got a refill to washer fluid. Tells me how much the miles and the range is, and check fuel cap. And then I'll also turn it off and start it up again in just a second, in the hopes that we get what happened yesterday, because I like these things to be fixed. But these are obviously the facelifted versions of the screens. So you've got Apple CarPlay. This will obviously have the My EV section as well. So we've apparently got 28 miles on just pure electric. As I say, I'm a fan of the hybrid side of things, to be honest with you. I think it's a good progressive way forward, in the sense of, let's say I worked 5 miles from home, 10 miles from home. Technically, I should be able to drive this to and from without using a drop of petrol, which again is more efficient than would it be if I was to be using the petrol. As I say, the roof's opened up. So we've got the opening panoramic roof on there. We've got heated and ventilated seats, which we can do on that, and that all works. We've also got the adaptive cruise control as well. Heated steering wheel, which is a lovely gimmick to have. It is a gimmick, but it is lovely to have. Obviously lane departure warning and things like that. So the autobiography is a really good specification to start with. So let's turn it off, turn it back on. See if it stays on this time. Normally a cycle of 3, I think, does it. Yeah, so there we go. Look, so the engine management light, I've already cheated a little bit, because obviously when I unloaded it from the trailer, when I loaded it onto the trailer, it wasn't there. Unloaded it off the trailer, the engine management light is still on. So as I say, the ignition's on, and so is that engine management light. So I know that they do it on a 3-stage cycle, so I knew that was going to happen. And essentially we're going to plug it in, and we're going to see why that light is there. In terms of the car though, really quite pleased with it, depending on what the prep is. The engine sounds absolutely fine, it revs okay, there's no nasty noises or anything like that. But obviously it is a concern that there is an engine management light on, so we need to plug it in. I've got a little top-down machine, which I'll show you in just a second. And it also has this check fuel flap thing. I'm pretty sure I know why that's on. And again, I'll show you. Ooh. So as mentioned, only has the one fuel filler cap, and that is seemingly stuck shut. And I've had it before because the spring thing has broken on the inside. So go over to my little toolbox over here. And I've got some little plastic things, because obviously I don't want to be damaging the paintwork at all. And then hopefully I can just prise it open. Yeah, so this bit here, look, is meant to go into a spring section there, and that spring section just seems to be completely missing. It's just an empty hole back there. And on that spring section it has obviously a little micro switch, which brings up that message because it thinks the fuel filler cap is open. Obviously it's not, but it thinks the fuel filler cap is open, so we need to get another one of those. I'm not sure how easy that is going to be to fit, only because obviously you need to get to it from the other side. I'm hoping we can somehow prise this out, but that might be a little bit of a research job for Google. But yeah, as I say, you need to get the alloys refurbished, need to give it a really good clean, need to give it a really good polish. And we're now going to plug it in, find out what that engine management light is on for. Okay, so what I've got here is my top-down Diagnostics machine. Got a little Bluetooth dongle, of which I've put that into the car there. So what we'll get it to do is find the vehicle. So click onto auto search. That'll then find the VIN number for the car, and basically know what it is that we're looking for in terms of fault codes, etc. What I'll also get it to do is a full health check, which will allow me to do that on the screen. So 2 seconds, it will then ask. So yes, it's the right vehicle. And I'm going to get it to do a health report. So what that does is goes through the entire module list. So although it's just an engine management light that's the cause for concern at the moment, I could, if I wanted to, just look into the engine control module. But I'd rather do the whole thing, get a good look at the whole car, make sure there's nothing too worrying in any of the other modules or anything like that. It'll take a couple of minutes to do that. So whilst it's doing that, I thought I'll show you the service history of this Range Rover, which is mighty impressive, to be honest. The great thing is with the JLR stuff is that we can print out the online service history, and you can upload to this whether you're a main dealer or a specialist. The main dealers are also able to put in the Range Rover logo alongside it. So this has had a full main dealer service history. Obviously had the PDI to begin with, then we've got 14,000 miles, 28,000, 42,000, 47,000, 52,000, 61,000, and then the latest one at 70,939 miles. That was done in February of this year at Virtue Land Rover down in Truro. Quite a big one as well. So that one had obviously oil and filter, pollen filter, the renewal of the transmission fluid, and also the alarm handset batteries. So that was just over 1,000 miles ago in February of this year, and we're only in March now, so it was literally last month, which is great news. We've also got the invoice for that one as well. So with all the sundries and everything like that, that came to a total of £1,113.46, which is obviously a relatively big bill, but I'd rather it was done prior to my ownership than during my ownership. Obviously this engine management light could well have been a temperamental thing, and that's why they've decided to get rid of it. We'll find out what it is in just a moment. We'll see how it's getting on. Okie dokie. Right, so we've got... Okay, so my camera died right at the inopportune moment. The revealing of the fault codes that the code scanner picked up. Nothing too untoward, hopefully. So there were 4 control modules, 3 of which I wasn't really concerned about because they were all stored codes. The engine's the one that I realistically wanted to look at because we know that we had a light on. So I'll show you what it was that was displayed when I read through. Some of them were pending, some of them are historic, and one of them which was current, and that was the check the fuel flap one. So what I've done is I've cleared those codes and I'm now taking it for a drive. So at the moment we have no engine management lights on, but I thought I'd take it for a drive to see if I can get it to come on, because if so, then obviously it should only be that stored code that comes up into the engine control module, and then we can take a reading off that and it'll help us diagnose what it is that's actually happening with the car. But I thought I'd also take you along for the driving aspect as well. Obviously we've driven many different Range Rover Sports, and I will say that the hybrid petrol, or the petrol ones in general, just feel that little bit more refined. It's ever so quiet in here. I don't think you necessarily take too much note of a diesel engine note, but the fact that you can't hear it, as in you can't hear the engine note of this petrol engine, kind of just shows that it's a just a bit more of a refined kind of car, really. So the engine is running as well as obviously the hybrid tech. So I've got a rev meter, and that tells me that the engine's on. I can press this button here, put it into EV mode, of which we're now driving on just battery, and it doesn't drive any different. I've still got the same level of responsiveness. It's just obviously not using any fuel to do so. And then I've also realised that if you used to put it into, so take it out of EV mode, put it into a sport mode, that's when you're then getting the benefit of both power from the engine and also the hybrid system. That's then also like giving you the full potential of that 400 PS. So that makes for quite an exciting drive. But it is ever so comfortable. Those 21-inch wheels, they're really quite nice because they're aesthetically very pleasing to look at, but you've still got a really decent tyre sidewall to give you the comfort that you would want from the drive. But yeah, everything in here works as it should. I'm just trying to anticipate whether that engine management light will come back on, and then if it does, of course, we can plug it back in and see what's what. But yeah, other than that, I mean, everything all seems like it should. Steering wheel's lovely to use, got these soft touch dials, which are quite a big upgrade, or an update if you like, from the previous generation, or pre-facelift of Range Rover. It's a really aesthetically pleasing thing to look at. I really do like the digital dash. I'm a bit of a traditional chap in the sense of I like to see the dials. I've got 2 dials set up, but you can change it all. You can have it so it's just a full map display with a small digital speedometer, or you can have one central dial just within the centre, map on one side, entertainment details on the other side. So the customization that you can do within that screen is really quite good. Same with these central screens here. It's got this like regenerative braking system, which is strange to get used to at first. We'll continue going up this road here. It's mighty impressive, that responsiveness. It's definitely more responsive than the 3-litre D300 Range Rover Sports that we've had a couple of in the past. It's almost like instantaneous. They've got plenty of torque in the diesel engines, but this is very responsive and really quite quick. And again, just keeping that like refined drive going, which is really quite nice. But what I've also managed to do is get the engine management light to come back on. And as annoying as it is to have an engine management light on, I'd rather it came on whilst we were doing these type of test drives, so that it's a fault that we can rectify, because we kind of understood that there was an underlying fault somewhere. So we just need to find out which code has come back and then kind of address that situation. But getting back to the drive, it hasn't driven any different now that light's come on. It's still doing everything that we'd realistically wanted to do, but what I am going to do is turn around, because of course I don't want to drive too far on it with the email on, in case it is causing an issue which is greater than what it is at the moment. But I am mightily impressed with that hybrid system drive. It is really quite good, and it's just a lovely place to be. It's a really lovely colour combination. The blue and the black works really well. I like this carbon finish on the dash, which is nice. Beautiful sunny day with the panoramic roof. But yeah, obviously that's why I love them. That's why people love them, is because they are just a very nice place to be, and they drive ever so well. And whatever this is, I can't imagine it would be something too sinister, because it's not telling me to stop driving or anything like that, and it hasn't actually changed how it's performing. So it could well be a sensor somewhere or something like that. But we'll get back, plug it in, and see what's what. Okay, so back at the showroom now with my Diagnostics machine. Let's go into the system selection. Phone at the ready to Google the code. That's what most people do, by the way, is they read the code, Google it, and someone else will tell them what it is most of the time. Okay, so we've got 2 codes, one which for the fuel cap sensor, a P2410-00, so we know about that one, that's all fine. And then we've got P2B6173, which I'll put up onto the screen now. It reads engine coolant flow control valve stuck closed. So the actuator is stuck closed. It's only a pending code, so it only read it momentarily whilst we were driving, and it's not reading it now that I've got back in. But I still think that's going to be an issue that continues to come up, and I think that is what is causing the EML light to come on. And I think that that is in relation to the water pump, because the water pumps nowadays do have actuators on them. So that one, yeah, there's a couple of forums here showing that code in relation to your water pump. The shroud that goes and controls the flow of your coolant is sticking, and it looks like that is what is causing the light to come on. So I'm going to ring through to Roger Young, which are our parts supplier for JLR. We quite often have to do water pumps on any of the petrol engines, in all fairness. In particular the 5 litres, we've got, whenever we've had the 5 litre Range Rovers come through, we almost do it just as a precautionary measure anyway, because if it's still the original coolant pump, it's most likely going to fail at some point. Here I am saying how much I love Range Rovers and then telling you all about the common faults, one of which being a coolant fault, water pump fault, of which then obviously if that stops pumping water around, you're going to cook your engine. But we do still love them, and it's quite a common thing that we have to do on the petrols. So we'll get a water pump ordered and I'll let you know how much it is. Okay, so spoken to Roger Young, they've got one on the shelf, which is great news. It's going to be delivered to me tomorrow morning. It was £263 retail. We only get about 15% on some of their stuff because obviously we order quite regularly from them. So it's coming in at £238 or something plus the VAT for us, which I think for a genuine JLR water pump, I'd rather fit the genuine one than an aftermarket one when you're talking these kind of cost, only because obviously the value of the car, I don't want it to be an issue that comes back to us because we've decided to save, I don't know, £80, £100 on a water pump. I'd rather just get it right the first time round, and of course don't have to then do the labour and everything again. The original one has actually been superseded, so they've actually upgraded. They obviously knew it was a fault, so they have actually upgraded the newer ones that we'll get through. I'm guessing it's probably a better mechanism they put in place for that shroud placement, etc. So that'll be here tomorrow. I would love to continue going on with this car today, but we are approaching Thursday afternoon. Well, it is Thursday afternoon now. We've got 2 cars going out over the weekend, 2 cars to pick up from the workshops. The F-Type that I previously did a video on, that's sold, and the AA are coming over to do an AA inspection tomorrow, of which we're very happy for them to do so. We've got nothing to hide, and customers, when they're buying from a distance, quite often request that, so that's fine. One of the things that they can organise, but we've obviously got to be here for that. But that's the one we've got to pick up at the workshop. We're going to go get that one this afternoon. And the M235i that we've taken into stock, that one's also sold. We've got to get that one ready for the weekend. So yeah, there's plenty to get on with. I'm going to see if I can book this one in to have its alloys done whilst we do those couple of bits. And then of course we've got to clean it, get it back into the showroom, and then start the polishing process. Hopefully the water pump should be here with me tomorrow because Roger Young do daily deliveries. Get it straight down to the workshop so we can get that sorted as well. I have also ordered a micro switch for the fuel filler cap. I didn't really ask the price on it. I can't imagine it's going to be too much, but I'll let you know how much that is when we receive that. So yeah, it's annoying to have an engine management light, of course it is, but if it's just a water pump and that's what fixes it, then we're still on for a winner, and it'll make a really nice car, but just needs an almighty clean. It's not so nice in here, and also the outside. Now that it's outside in the sun, you can really see the muddiness of it. So yeah, we'll catch you up in a couple of days. Hello, so it is now Monday morning. We had a very productive weekend. The M235i went out, and we also had a couple of appointments on the Porsche, one of which I've already bought, one of the Panameras, which is lovely. Just in discussions about the little 911 Carrera 2 that we've got. Right, so this is obviously the main subject of this video. We've got to get it out of the showroom, and it's pretty chock-a-block on the forecourt, but it's booked in today to have its alloy wheels done. We've also had the delivery for parts as well. So we've got a nice new water pump. So the issue with the water pump that's on it is this metal shroud here, it does actually retract. I'm not going to force it to do so because I don't want to mess up any kind of calibration if there is one on there. But the fault code indicates that this shroud is either it's stuck or it's taken too long to open out. Obviously the water pump is the main issue, but I've also got in here as well, again, the genuine parts. That's the pulley, of which you don't have to replace it, but I always think if you're in there doing the water pump, may as well do the pulley as well. And then I've even got the genuine bolts. There's 3 bolts there that hold that pulley in place with the water pump just behind it. So plan is that one down to get the alloys now, which I should get that back tomorrow. And then hopefully on the Wednesday it'll be into the workshops to have the service done, because we always do a service, and also the water pump done, and that will hopefully be the cause of our engine management light. All the pointers are pointing towards that. And I've also got coming today as well, which they forgot to bring up on the van, so I'll most likely get it tomorrow, is the filler cap spring bit, because I can't open up the fuel filler cap either, and obviously that is one of the stored codes. I don't think that will be an EML on. Pretty confident obviously it's going to be the water pump, and I want to get that done anyway. So yeah, relatively busy morning to crack on with. We'll see it when the alloys are all done. So it is now the following Wednesday, of which we've now got the Range Rover back at the forecourt here, just about to bring it into the showroom and I'll show you as to why, but the alloys have all been done and they look fantastic. He always does a very good job. Obviously one of them done in the gloss black. It's in the access height mode now, but obviously one of them done in the gloss black, so they're looking really good. But the reason we want to get it into the showroom, as we mentioned last time, is because it needs a really good polish. I'll try and show you. See it all up the wing there, all down the door. As I say, we call it a bit of Devon rash, of which it feels quite rough as well on the paintwork. So a good polish should sort that. So when it goes all the way down the door, I think the best way to show it is there's a nice long scratch there. Here too, bit of dust from where the alloy's been on. So this entire side needs a really good polish. So after it had the alloy wheels done, we actually took it straight over to the workshops to obviously get the water pump done and also the fuel filler cap. So that's all been sorted, which is great. There is no engine management lights on, so I'm told, because Soph drove this one back. So we'll just jump inside and double check. So fire straight up, and obviously the engine management light has gone out, so that's excellent news. New water pumps fitted with the pulley and the 3 bolts as well, and we'll just double check on the fuel filler cap as well. So turn that off. It's telling me the fuel flap has been unlocked, because the thing with the hybrid sides, got a little button down there that you need to press to do that. So hopefully, there we go, look, nice and easy. So we can see that is now in place. If you remember earlier in the video, it was just an empty hole. So now that we can get it inside, I'll polish that side. So if we just finish cleaning the inside, because obviously technicians, they're dirty, so they get it in there. But yeah, we'll get it all cleaned up, get it on the get it in the photo area, advertise and on the website. Really difficult to show on the camera, so I've got my little torch here that I'm going to shine down the paintwork. Let's turn that up. So as we can see, it's looking loads better. It's all come up really, really nice, all down the sides, all the way back to the rear. And the good thing is with this polish, it doesn't leave much of a haziness, which is always good. But what I have also noticed is around on this side, it's just a few marks that I want to get out on both doors as well. So I'll get the polisher out, get onto that side. I won't film that bit because you've already seen me film the one side, and then it's ready for an exterior clean, photos, advertise. We're nearly there. It's late on Thursday. So it's been a week, well, late on Wednesday, sorry, so it'll be Thursday tomorrow, so it'll be a week that we've had the car to get it prepped and advertised. That's not too bad at all. So yeah, nearly there. Okay, so it is now Thursday afternoon, just over a week, so 8 days later from when we collected this car, and I've just finished photographing it and getting the video clips to do a little walk around video as well, and I'm really pleased with how it's come up. So I'll show you down the sides as well where we polished it. So it's now looking loads better outside. Obviously the alloy wheels all look fantastic, looks really cool with the red calipers as well. But what a fantastic bit of stock that is. Mileage is great, service history is great, so I really hope you enjoyed the video of us doing obviously the prep work on this car. Many more like it to come. For example, I've got a Velar which I've had to park on the road obviously because we're doing the photographs, but that Velar there, we've just put it into stock, and that also needs a bit of preparation. So if you like this style of video, please do let me know, and of course continue to like and subscribe to the channel. It really is growing and I really am enjoying watching the numbers go up. So I'll see you for the next one.